Thanks for joining us. Karen is off. We begin with a brazen act at a Coon Rapids business that ended with the arrest of a Minneapolis man late Thursday night. Just before close, a man entered the Payless shoe store on Springbrook Drive and confronted the employees while displaying a possible gun. A minute later, 911 received a holdup alarm from the business. Friendly officers who were in the area arrived at the store quickly. The suspect, who was trying to flee, ran back into the store but eventually peacefully surrendered to officers.
Because of the very quick response of the responding officers and being close, we were there while it occurred instead of, like I said, we're trying to catch up on most of them, where we're trying to track a suspect down, whether it's on foot or in car, or a protracted investigation over a long period of time to try to identify the suspect and then arrest him. Here we were very fortunate we were there when it occurred, and then made the arrest, and everything turned out good with no one being hurt.
One of the two employees inside the business was bound with tape, but neither was physically injured. The 38-year-old suspect, who does have a previous robbery convictions, has not been charged as of the taping of this newscast. District 11 kicked off the first of a three-part parenting series this week. The topic, substance abuse. Parents and guardians who turned out at Champlain Park High School Tuesday evening got a first-hand account of teen drug and alcohol trends from a panel of experts. CTN Steve Antis was there.
That's the same year when I was 12 that I started using marijuana.
Straight talk from Josh, a recovering addict who shared his struggle with substance abuse.
It was one thing after the other. One of my roommates introduced me to smoking meth. The other one introduced me to smoking heroin.
Things finally turned around for him when he discovered Know the Truth, a substance abuse prevention program offered through Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge.
I think most kids are being honest. It's an anonymous survey.
Epidemiologist Melissa Adolfson shared results from the Minnesota Student Survey on drug and alcohol use in the Anoka-Hennepin School District.
It's great to see huge reductions from 2001 down to 2013 for the percentage of ninth graders reporting past 30-day use of substances.
I never thought that we would face addiction.
Rose McKinney shared her family's story of a son who spiraled out of control.
It was not until his senior year that we discovered that he was using drugs. And at that point, we did everything that we could to help him. He battled addiction for a number of years after that. Today, however, he is 18 months sober.
Since then, she's determined to connect with other parents to make them aware of the chances your child could get involved in substance use. A panel discussion of professionals spent an hour fielding questions from concerned parents, helping them prepare for the talk.
These topics of, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, smoking, are things that we're going to be having to deal with in the near future.
Just love your kids. Show them that you love them instead of just telling them it.
There's so much to know around the topic of substance use that organizers needed to make this a three-part series. The next forum will be on Thursday, March 3rd at Champlain Park High School. The discussion will focus on the signs and symptoms of chemical use. Steve, I think every concerned parent in the district should be there.
All right, some very personal stories. Thank you, Steve. Last week we told you about funding included in the governor's bonding bill to help construct a bridge over the railroad tracks on Hanson Boulevard. But that's not the only project being funded here in Anoka County. In addition to the $12.6 million earmarked for the Hanson Rail Grade Separation Project, $5 million is included for field expansion at the National Sports Center. $2.5 million is slated for Anoka Ramsey Community College, and $2.25 million is budgeted for safety and security renovations at the Anoka Metro Regional Treatment Center. Again, this is just the governor's proposal. The House and Senate have yet to unveil their bonding bills for the 2016 session. Volunteers will hit the streets next week to help determine how many homeless people are living in Anoka County. Each January, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development requires a point-in-time count of people who are homeless. This year's count will take place January 28th. For 24 hours, volunteers will comb homeless shelters, city streets, and other known homeless encampments to get the most accurate count possible. Last year, more than 794 people were without a permanent place to live in Anoka County. The subject of homelessness was a topic of discussion at the Coon Rapids City Center Thursday afternoon. The panel discussion was put on by 3 local organizations: Hope for Youth, Family Promise of Anoka County, and Stepping Stone Emergency Housing. Organizers used the forum to shed light on the problem locally.
We really thought it was essential, not just to inform the community as our own organizations, but all of us coming together and making sure that we answer the questions and we tell the stories of our residents and those individuals we work with, so the community can have a better understanding and a clearer understanding of what homelessness in Anoka County does look like.
A representative from the YMCA also spoke about the services they provide to the homeless. All of the organizations could use volunteers. For more information, we set up links on our website at Coon Rapids, ctncoonrapids.com. Helping the homeless is also the goal of an after-school group in Anoka. The students recently won $20,000 in technology from Samsung after their project was named the top in Minnesota for finding ways to use science, technology, engineering, and math to solve a problem in the community. CTN's Joe Nelson reports.
And it said, what's a major problem our community faces?
Anoka Middle School for the Arts 8th grade science teacher Rebecca Marshall says one email sparked ideas that are bringing people together for a cause. The Samsung Solve for Tomorrow contest challenges schools to help their community through STEM education with rewards of nearly $2 million worth of technology for schools at stake. Marshall decided to take on homelessness. Some students have personal connections to the cause.
I was born in Moldova, so I've heard a lot of stories about like my grandma and my great-grandma, how they had to live like in poverty, and I really want to help other people that feel this way.
Familiar with miniature houses built for temporary relief, Marshall formed an after-school group, which got to work.
I'm in charge of how to power the mini house. So we've been thinking about eco-friendly ways.
A community outreach group calls businesses for donations and visits city councils and experts for advice on how to build the small one-bed heated home.
It makes me feel stressed and happy at the same time because I know that I'm helping somebody.
More than 4,100 schools entered the contest nationally, and last month the team's idea was named the best in Minnesota, winning $20,000 worth of technology.
It really motivated me to start going further.
The team is now building a half-scale prototype and making a video of their plan to move on to the next phase with more money and a trip as motivation. Students say they want to win but still have other goals in mind.
I wanted to help people without warmth. We got together and we started looking for some research.
They're part of our community and we need to help our community as much as we can.
In Anoka, Joe Nelson, CTN News.
Very cool. Marshall says with the donations they've received, she hopes the team will be able to build at least one mini house, whether they win or lose. They'll find out if they move on to the New York City by March. District 11 is proposing a new home for its vehicle maintenance facility, currently located off 113th Avenue and Hanson Boulevard. On Thursday night, the Planning Commission approved a conditional use permit and site plan for a new facility to be located off Dogwood Street, adjacent to Northdale Middle School. The 14,000 square foot building will include heated and unheated storage space, a small shop, office, and a break room. The land that currently the facility sits on was sold after District 11 moved its headquarters to Anoka. After years of trying to secure grant money, the city is taking a new path to get a trail completed in the southern part of the city. On Tuesday night, the City Council accepted the plans and ordered the advertisement for bids for the 85th Avenue Trail. The trail will be reconstructed on the south side of 85th Avenue between East River Road and the railroad tracks, where it would connect up with the Springbrook Nature Center. Funding for the project is coming from the Park Bond. Work is scheduled to start in April and be finished by the end of June. The craft brewing trend has made its way to Coon Rapids. On Tuesday night, the City Council introduced an ordinance that regulates brew pubs, breweries, tap rooms, distilleries, and cocktail rooms. Recently, a microbrewery expressed interest in opening up a brewery and tap room in the city, but they are not allowed currently in any zoning district. The new ordinance is expected to be formally adopted next month. Last fall, 2 Coon Rapids natives opened the first tap room in the city of Anoka. The annual Dessert and Coffee Concert Series kicked off this week with a tribute to one of the most influential musicians of our times.
I fell into a burning ring of fire, went downtown, flames went higher.
On Thursday night, the group known as the Church of Cash played a tribute to the Man in Black, otherwise known as Johnny Cash. Several hundred people turned out for the concert in the Civic Center. The band was formed in Honolulu back in 2010. They released their first album last summer. The concert series continues on February 11th with a tribute to Nat King Cole. On March 10th, Lachlan Road plays its Celtic tunes, and on April 14th, it's the Bill and Tom Variety Show. All concerts begin at 7 p.m. in the Civic Center. The admission fee includes dessert and a beverage. All right, that is going to do it for us. Up next, CTN News Spotlight with more on the Snowflake Day celebration, which kicks off next week. Thanks for watching.